Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and this state under the authority of the people. So help me God. I, Franklin BoE, do solemnly swear that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law for the office of a member of the Board of Education, and that I'm not disqualified as a voter pursuant to RS 19-401, or disqualified due to a conviction of a crime or offense listed in New Jersey Statutes 18A 12-1, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of that office to the best of my ability. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mark. The next item is to move into our executive session for the purposes of discussing personnel and legal. With that, make a motion to go into executive 6:03. Second.
Second.
All in favor? All right, we'll resume our regular meeting at 7 p.m. Can I make a motion to come out of executive session? Second.
Second.
All in favor? Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. The first item on our agenda this evening is the introduction to our 24-25 Governor's Teacher of the Year award recipients. As we normally do, I know we have our principals here this evening, which will give us a quick bio. I'll go ahead and announce the four recipients. We have Mrs. Jessica BoE. She's a grade 2 teacher at Marietta Champier. Amanda Yardabelli, grade 4 teacher at Main Road School. Heather Nelson, a reading specialist and special education teacher at our Carolina River School, and Jody Raymond, speech language specialist at Main Road School. So congratulations to the four of you. I'm not sure which principal wants to go first, but make your way up to Mr. Cody.
Thank you, Mr. Brand. So it's my honor to introduce to the board Ms. Jessica Lloyd, the Marietta Champier Elementary School Educator of the Year. Ms. Lloyd, if you'd please come on up. Let's give her a nice round. Thank you. So congratulations go out to you for being named Educator of the Year. Ms. Lloyd has 11 years of total experience in the field of education and is currently in her 9th year of full-time teaching at Marietta Champier Elementary, where she's assigned as a second grade teacher. Prior to her current assignment, Ms. Lloyd was a long-term substitute and a part-time basic skills teacher at Main Road School. She is a Delsea Regional High School graduate, a Gloucester County College and Rowan University graduate, and additionally, Ms. Lloyd is a past student at Marietta Champier Elementary School. Ms. Lloyd earned a bachelor's degree in elementary ed and bachelor's degree in geography from Rowan University. She's actively involved in the Marietta Champier Elementary School community as a second grade team leader, member of the School Safety, Climate, Character Education PBSIS Committee, the School Spirit, and the School Spirit Committee. Ms. Lloyd believes that, quote, children are our future and that every child has the potential to bring something unique and special to the world. It is my job as a teacher to encourage and motivate my students to recognize that they are capable of great things and have the strength to overcome hardships and challenges in their life. I want my students to know that they have someone who genuinely cares about their emotional well-being and academic success, end quote. In the words of some of Ms. Lloyd's colleagues, Jessica Lloyd, quote, Jessica Lloyd passionately works to proactively collaborate with colleagues to create instruction that will positively move Jambier students forward to increase success in academics, behavior, and social emotional well-being. Also, quote, Jessica Lloyd goes above and beyond so frequently that it is her normal. She is always working hard to help not only her students, but also all the students in our grade, school, and district. She can often be seen throughout the community at different events where she always represents the school and its teachers in a positive manner. As the principal of Marietta Champier Elementary School, I found that Ms. Lloyd is a teacher who demonstrates her genuine passion for teaching daily through her consistent development and implementation of creative, engaging lessons that build student understanding in a supportive learning environment. At the core of Ms. Lloyd's success is her dedication towards comprehensive planning for each lesson That includes the development of differentiated activities that address student learning styles as well as the children's individual, social, emotional, and behavioral needs. Outside of school, Jessica enjoyed spending time with her family and friends, watching her son play sports, watching movies, swimming in her pool, and relaxing at the beach. Well-deserved, Miss Jessica Lloyd, congratulations. Would you like her to sit down, or do you want her to stand over? Mr. Betts, how do you want to work it?
Sit down and we'll take a group picture when we're all done.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next up is Mrs. Barsa, who's going to introduce Mrs. Amanda Yacovelli, Board President.
Yep.
Good evening, Mrs. Barsa.
All right, so Miss Amanda Yacovelli, you can come in as well. All right. Miss Yacovelli has been an educator at Main Road School for 8 years. She received her bachelor's in elementary education and writing arts from Rowan University. Miss Yacovelli's unwavering commitment to fostering an environment where students feel valued, challenged, and supported is truly inspiring. Her passion for teaching not only empowers students to achieve their best, but also instills a lifelong love for learning. Whether in the classroom or beyond, her ability to connect with students and create an inclusive, dynamic learning environment has had an immeasurable impact on our school community. Ms. Yacovelli's innovative teaching methods, tireless work ethic, and genuine care for each student's growth are qualities that continually show her dedication. She consistently goes above and beyond to help every student succeed and is a positive influence in the school community. Some noteworthy accomplishments of Ms. Yacovelli's is that she has had perfect attendance for the 1819, 1920, 2021, and 2022-23 school years, exemplifying her dedication to teaching our students. So that's a big piece of it. Mrs. Yacovelli has also been an advisor for the kickball club since the 2019 school year. She has also led PD sessions in math during previous in-service days, specifically with hot questions, discussions in mathematics in recent years. She exemplifies what it means to be a true educator, and her hard work does not go unnoticed. Students recognize that she attends sporting events of theirs and is always in attendance at Main Road school functions. Main Road is fortunate to have Ms. Yacovelli as a role model and a mentor, and her dedication is deeply valued and appreciated. Ms. Yacovelli, congratulations on becoming Educator of the Year for the 2024-2025 school year.
Congratulations, Mrs. Yacovelli. Since you're already up, I guess,
I'm just going to stay up and do
I was
Jody
going to
Marks
say,
also.
yeah, Mrs. Raymond.
Perfect. All right. Ms. Jody Marks Raymond. Okay. On behalf of the entire Main Road School community, I am honored to recognize Mrs. Jody Morris Raymond as our Educator Service Professional of the Year for the Township of Franklin Schools. Mrs. Morris Raymond has been at Main Road School for 8 years. She obtained her bachelor's degrees in journalism and radio, TV, and film from Rowan University. She completed her Master of Science in Speech Language Pathology from Western Kentucky University. In her master's program, she was awarded the Outstanding Student Clinical Award in 2017. Mrs. Morris Raymond holds certification in American Speech Language Hearing Association and as well as a certificate of clinical competence. In her time at Main Road School, she's been a clinical instructor for 3 Stockton graduate students and is seen as the SLP, our speech learning pathologists, team lead within the school district. Her dedication, passion, and commitment to the success of the students has set a standard of excellence that inspires all who work with her. She's demonstrated extraordinary skill in fostering an environment where students feel supported, challenged, and encouraged to reach their full potential. Mrs. Morris Raymond's ability to connect with students, understand their unique needs, and create engaging learning experiences is a testament to her exceptional professional ability. Her contributions go beyond the therapy room. She actively runs clubs to enhance social skills, collaborates with colleagues, gives confidence to students, and offers her time and expertise to improve the overall educational experience for our entire school community. Clubs that Mrs. Mars has run previously include our American Sign Language Club, board games, crochet, embroidery, sunshine, among many others. She has also incorporated the communication card into our monthly routine. This is something where staff looks forward to each month, where students in our MD and LLD classrooms, they practice conversational skills, greetings, closings, and give snack recommendations to our staff. So they run around with a snack cart. It's really nice. Thank you for your hard work, inspiration, and for being a role model for both students and colleagues. Mrs. Morris Raymond, congratulations on being Educator Service Professional of the Year for Township of Franklin Schools. We are proud to celebrate your accomplishments and look forward to all the great work yet to come.
Mr. Peters, you're next up with the introduction of Mrs. Heather Nelson.
We would like to congratulate Mrs. Heather Nelson, the Ritter School Teacher of the Year. So Mrs. Heather Nelson is the Ritter School Teacher of the Year. Mrs. Nelson is a special education teacher and reading specialist at Ritter School, and she has been at our school for 5 of her past 7 years here within our school district. Heather holds a bachelor's degree in early childhood and elementary education and special education, along with a master's degree in literacy studies from Arcadia University. Her passion for fostering literacy and empowering students with diverse learning needs has made her a standout educator within our school. Mrs. Nelson's commitment to her students extends far beyond academic instruction. She is known for her innovative teaching methods, ability to individualize instruction, and unwavering dedication to student success. She fosters a nurturing and inclusive classroom environment, ensuring that all students feel valued and supported. In nominating Mrs. Nelson for this distinguished honor, colleagues praised her as a compassionate, knowledgeable, and inspirational educator. One of Mrs. Nelson's colleagues exclaimed, "Mrs. Nelson's enthusiasm for reading and her dedication to helping every single student achieve their full potential is unmatched. She is a cornerstone of our school community." Another one shared, "Heather's impact on her students is immeasurable. Her thoughtful approach to teaching ensures that every child feels seen and is celebrated." Beyond the classroom, Heather is an active contributor to the school's initiatives, serving on committees and collaborating with colleagues to enhance the educational experience for all of our students. She is a leader both within the school and in the district as well. Now, within the school, she holds the roles of a team leader for the school's 5th grade liberal arts department and also serves on our school leadership committee. At the district level, she also extends her leadership abilities by both serving on our district leadership committee and also the ELA curriculum committee. Mrs. Nelson further provides service to the Franklin Township community in her role as the Delsey Middle School field hockey coach. Simply, Heather embodies the very best qualities of an educator. Her ability to connect with students, her leadership among peers, and her tireless dedication to her craft make her a deserving recipient of this honor. We are so fortunate to have you as part of our Ritter School family. Congratulations.
Again, congratulations to all the recipients. Look forward to spending an afternoon with you when able to attend the Teacher of the Year luncheon. It's always a great event. With that, we'll take a quick recess so we can get photographs. Any family members want to get photos, or any board members just like to say hello to any of our Teachers of the Year. So take a quick 5 minutes.
Any board members want to join us? To you? Yeah, just
Ryan, do you want me to take it?
yeah.
And you
Great.
trust me? Yeah. Thank you.
you look good.
I think nobody here took a school picture.
Thank you.
Coming in around the next item on our agenda this evening is the presentation of our 23-24 audit. Mr. Holt, this evening. Mike, come on up.
Good evening.
Come back and follow.
Yeah, right? Good evening. Thank you for having me here this evening to go over the results of the 2024 audit. I did put together a 2-page summary, so I don't take up too much of your time. It's a 175-page document, the audit, so I'll just go over the financial highlights. On pages 17 through 20 of the audit is the independent auditor's report. This is a report given by our accounting firm on the financial statements. I'm happy to report that an unmodified opinion has been rendered on the financial statements. They are fairly presented in all material respects as of June 30th, 2024. The audit was conducted in accordance with auditing standards generally accepted in the United States of America, government auditing standards and the requirements set forth by the New Jersey Department of Education. So a really good job there. The unmodified opinion is the best opinion that can be rendered on the district's financial statements. On pages 161 to 162, there is a report on internal control over financial reporting and on compliance. Our accounting firm reviewed and evaluated the internal controls and tested the compliance requirements with New Jersey laws and regulations, and I'm happy to report back that there were no internal control weaknesses or compliance issues noted. Very good job there on that. And then there was another level of auditing called a single audit. The district had major programs in state and federal. The federal programs was the Education Stabilization Fund. That was the ARP monies that were left over. And then the state program was the state aid public. Again, an unmodified opinion. The district complied in all material respects with the types of compliance requirements that could have a direct and material effect on the federal and state programs. So again, a really good job there with that. The governmental funds are on pages 41 and 42. The general fund is your main operating fund. The total revenues for the year were $23.7 million. Of that, the tax levy was $12.1 million. That represents about 51% of the revenue. Your tuition was $2.4 million, which represents about 10% of the revenue. And the state aid was $8,800,000, which represents about 37% of your budget comes from the state sources that are there. Total expenditures were just below that at $23.6 million. And that gave a fund balance decrease for the general fund of $935,000. Your ending number is $3,892,000 on the GAAP basis. Your special revenue fund balance increased by $5,500. It's made up of student activity funds of $26,500. Your capital projects fund increased $166,000 to $207,000. And then your debt service fund had no change, as a zero balance. Your proprietary funds are made up of the food service fund. The total revenues were $604,000 for the period. Expenses were $733,000. There was a decrease of around $130,000 down to $312,000 at the end of the year. On the second page of that document that I put together is a financial statement summary of the general fund, where it compares 2024 to 2023. And you can see there the fund balance summary, general fund budgeted versus actual. The excess revenue over budget was $400,000 for the 2024 year. The unexpended appropriations were $2.7 million. That gave a total fund balance that was generated of $3,178,000. The district utilized $4,132,000. There was a net fund balance decrease of $954,000 on the budgetary basis. When you look at the comparison of the budget versus actual expenditures, the total budget appropriations were $27,428,000. Total actual expenditures were $24,650,000. The percentage of the budget was right around 90%. Now keep in mind that number is a little skewed because we had a large capital reserve item that was budgeted for 1.9 million, it was not all expended. If we took that out of the equation, the district really spent about 95.8% of its operating budget for the year. The fund balance at the end of the year is in several different categories. Your reserve for encumbrances is $437,000 at the end of the year. Your capital reserve monies are $1,255,000. Your maintenance reserve monies are $550,000. Your unemployment reserve is $397,000. What was used in the current year budget, which is 2024-25, was $1,332,000, and the unreserved, undesignated surplus is $732,000 at the end of June 30th, 2024. That's available for the 2025-26 budget that you guys are getting into now for that year. That represents a little bit over the 2% that's allowed. 2% of operating expenditures are $493,000. There were some add backs that were allowed from extraordinary aid and a couple other different state revenues. And that number, bringing it up to the $732,000, represents 2.9% of the total budget that is there in your surplus. Other than that, it was a really good audit. There is no corrective action plan that's needed, no comments and recommendations for the district. Just a really good job. I want to thank the finance office. Trish, your help was really greatly appreciated for myself and the staff when we were here performing the audit steps. So a really good job. Keep up the great work.
Thank you very much for saying that. I really thank my business office staff that they also get a good shout out. Obviously, I'm not the only one to do it in that office. So thank you to your team. It's always a pleasure to work with you guys.
Excellent. And if you need anything throughout the year, you have our numbers. Reach out.
Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Keep up the great work.
This evening, I had two quick questions for you, and
Yeah.
I'll open it up to board member questions. The excess revenue line item, do you by any chance know what that's attributed to? Or is that something I can find in the report? It's around $417.
I'm sorry, the excess surplus?
Yeah, excess revenue.
Oh, the excess revenue.
Yeah.
I don't have that off the top of my head exactly what that is, but it's really miscellaneous income, I think, for the most part, that came in that was over and above what you guys budgeted. Yeah.
The second question is, I know you touched on the capital improvement expenditure that you did have accounted for about 5% of the unexpended budgeted items. The remaining 5%, is there anything specific that was attributed to? Is that probably across multiple categories?
Yeah, so the other 5% that wasn't expended, that's pretty normal to where you guys are. The year before, you were 93.5%. And we've seen some of the districts actually spending a little bit more. Budgets are getting tighter, and some of more of the money is being spent.
So if I wanted to see where those unexpenditures were, that'll be in your report somewhere?
That is in the report, and it's on, yes, and it is on the C1 exhibit in the financial statement that you'll see, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Is there any board member questions?
I just have a question about the reason. What is the reasoning for our food service going down so much?
Yeah, so if you remember, during the pandemic, there was a lot of money that was coming in from the federal government. That money has really curtailed, and it's not that much. That's probably the biggest reason.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Try to do grants for it, but we did have a higher cash flow in previous years that we spent down with getting new equipment. But obviously, you can't just get new equipment just to get new equipment. So.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Trish.
You're welcome. Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Have a good evening, okay? Keep up the great work. Okay.
Moving on, we have our first public comment section this evening for agenda items only. Go ahead and make a motion to be open to the public. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone from the public which would like to comment on the items listed this evening on the agenda? Seeing no one, make a motion to close the public. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
School board president report. I have a couple things to report to you guys. The first one is I just wanted to acknowledge our staff for the great job that they did with the evacuation that we had recently over at Main Road School. If you recall, there was a fire in the area, and out of precaution, they requested that the area be evacuated. So, from what I understand from comments people in the public have made, that spoke to the police chief, and everyone was very well prepared, and the evacuation went very well. So I want to thank our staff, especially our transportation staff, for coming through for us to get back to transport the kids over to Ritter. Also, we want to thank Mr. Peters and us also communications going out regarding that. So great job. Also, Mrs. Inversa, I know it was all hands on deck, and definitely got some positive feedback. So, also, I spoke to the police chief, and he wanted me to thank on behalf of Alma, thank the board for offering the use of our transportation services to help in their evacuations. I don't know if they actually put something that they were able to utilize the
Yes.
buses in Alma.
Yes.
Trish, I think you authorized that, which is obviously the right thing to do. So I just want to acknowledge everybody for their hard work with that. The next item I had is an update for you. I know we talked about it at our last meeting. The school board president of Pittman, I forget her name off the top of my head, had put together basically a roundtable discussion for members of the Gloucester County school community regarding the school funding formula and some of the challenges that we faced here in Gloucester County relative to that formula. And Mr. Smith and I attended that meeting, and I can tell you school funding formula, I learned a lot in the meeting. It's a very, very complicated, convoluted formula that they use. There was some very interesting facts, one of which that I never knew was that they actually calculate in not only do they calculate the value of your overall equalized value of your properties within your community, there's also a separate calculation based on the income of the residents of your community. So they basically put in many nutrition, which I meant at any point here, if I'm saying this incorrectly. There's many different calculations on the property side, the income side, that they also look, which was revealing to me about the student population. I always kind of knew that the student population played a role in it, but I thought it would be looked at on a year-to-year basis. It's actually there's a 6-year look back onto the student population. So they look at your 6 prior years enrollment and use that as one of the figures for the calculation. There's also different coefficients used for different students, English language learners, non-English language learners, and then they have a geographical analysis they do, and some sort of percentage, I don't know if Greg, you remember that, some sort of geographical adjustment they take for each county. And I guess at the end of the day, they put all this information into some fancy machine and it spits out what our state aid number is. But nobody seems to understand exactly how that works. And I would assume that's the correct statement, right, Trish?
Yes, there are some arbitrary pieces of information that get thrown in there as opposed to a simple calculation.
Right. So the purpose of the meeting was, all these politicians are always looking at, changing the funding formula and making it more consistent. And I think that was kind of the takeaway that I took, that people, obviously aren't happy if they lose funding, and they want to be funded to the full extent that they're entitled to. But one of the hardest things to deal with is the inconsistency and the unpredictability of the swings in funding. Luckily, we haven't experienced it to the drastic extent here, but I believe there are some districts that have experienced it much worse and lost a great amount of funding in comparison to what we've possibly a cold storage or warehouse use on this property. However, what they're proposing looks like all the access will be off of the Route 40 side of the property, so I don't think it will really have an impact on our school or on the roads. But I just wanted to mention that. And then the last thing I have is you'll see attached in my report, there's a resolution, and that resolution is doesn't directly affect us here in Franklin Township. It's our board, however, that's a resolution for the approval of a development in Elk Township, which will have pretty significant impact on moving forward. If you want to read through it, it's essentially they're building an apartment complex, 276 residential units, which will obviously, definitely have.
I missed what you said. How many?
D.R. Horton has received approvals this past month for, I believe, the addition of 960-some units in Elk Township. 685 of them are restricted to 55 and over. However, there is a portion that's 276 residential garden-style apartment units that are not restricted. So they'll be available for folks of any age, which obviously those units will probably account for a decent increase in the enrollment of students, both for Elk Township's elementary school and Kelsey moving forward. So just something I'd like to bring you guys' attention. With that, I don't have anything else. Is there any questions on any of that stuff? If not, Mr. Betts, I'm going to give your monthly report.
Right. Hey everybody, just wanted to congratulate our educators of the year one more time. We have many fine educators across this district. I mean, it's really impressive looking this out. When I started here, just seeing the level of instruction and care that goes into making Franklin Township what it is. So congratulations to our educators of the year. Kudos to all of them, some of them are sitting over there tonight. Also wanted to thank Trish Birmingham, sitting next to me. You may not be used to clean audit reports. They don't always happen. In our districts, sometimes it's a challenge to get a bunch of audit findings. To have a clean audit is really sensational. It speaks to her level of professionalism, her and her staff. They do a great job. I know we take very seriously with stewards of the taxpayers' money. To get a clean audit is really special. So thank you, Trish. Thank you. Good job. Just want to talk quickly. We have one snow day to make up right now. Snow coming possibly Tuesday night into Wednesday. From what I'm seeing, 4 to 6 inches right now. No decision has been made on when we'll be making up that day. It's always my philosophy to wait till everything happens. So I'm really shooting for a March date to talk about when we'll make up at least one snow day, maybe more. You never know until winter's through. So that's in the works. We are working on the 25-26 calendar, working with association members and administration to get this finalized. My plan is to have something in front of the board in March with a solid recommendation. I did send you a draft copy of where we're headed. That's not a final recommendation, but I want you to know that we are trying to align with Delsey as best we can. The staff is also working on a cell phone policy, updating that policy to reflect what's happening with our students. I know Delsey is going in one direction where they're looking to use those patches to restrict cell phone access. We're not leaning that way yet, but we're working with the principals to come up with something that makes sense for our kids. There's a great book by Dr. Jonathan Haidt called The Anxious Generation. It came out last year. It'll scare the tar out of any parent that wants to read about what social media and cell phone use is doing to our kids. It's pretty eye-opening, but it's a great book. And some of that thinking will go into our policy. We will make a recommendation to the policy committee and then have it ready for board approval. We're trying to get that done to TED by, what did we say, April, so we can go to your code of conduct. Is that our goal?
Correct. Ultimately, we would like to be able to to speak with the policy committee, hopefully in March, if not April at the latest. So this way we could have 2 months for it to go into our hands.
We had a discussion, I had a discussion with board members about making sure that our code of conduct aligns directly with our policy moving forward. So that's something we want to keep as a goal. The other committee that we're working on is an AI committee. It's something that we all use on a daily basis. You may not know it, but cell phones, GPS, a lot of AI is built into that, Grammarly and everything else that is available. And if we're using it as adults, we know our kids are using it, we want to come up with a policy that meets the needs of our staff and the needs of our kids. It makes a lot of sense. We had one meeting, we're meeting again in a couple of weeks. We're really looking at that academic integrity piece. Are kids using AI to cut corners, to take shortcuts, answer math problems, write an essay, whatever it may be, and how much is allowable and how much should we pull back on. Again, trying to use common sense and what's best for our students and staff, because we have to model that kind of behavior. So those are the 2 hot topics that we will be making recommendations on in the coming months. And just good news in this district. Even though I'm not an Eagles fan, congratulations to all Eagle fans out there. My mother was, and my older sister is Eagle fans. But last week on Friday, it was a lot of fun. A lot of kids wearing their jerseys and their hats and their sweatshirts, just having a lot of fun. And I was talking to a bunch of teachers. You know, we're here, of course, to teach reading, math, everything else. But those are the days that the kids are going to remember. You know, going to a pep rally at Ritter, just walking the halls, seeing that their teachers are actually humans too, and like to watch football and do those kinds of things. It was just a great spirit around all 3 buildings. So I do want to thank our administrators and our staff for making that happen. It's really a hallmark of this district. Just a great celebrations, and like I said, those are the days kids will remember, and it's really nice to see those memories being made almost on a daily basis. So thank you all. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett.
Before you move on, if you don't mind,
Sure.
you brought it up in your report. I can bring it up later. You had said there's no snow day, there's no date yet for makeup.
I know there's something listed on the calendar.
That's board approved calendar. So
Yes.
why would we sway from that? We approved that last year.
Because the one thing I heard to start here was staff retention. And in speaking to our leaders, our teacher leaders and our support staff, some things have been done in the past that treated them less than professional, according to them. And we can get into it after. But because of that, there was a flexibility was taken away in creating the new calendar and in working with the staff for a short amount of time, and I think showing them respect and an understanding of where they are as parents and as employees, we've been able to build some flexibility into next year's schedule, so much so that we're better to align with Delsey. I don't think beating people up, for lack of a better term, is the way to go. I think you get more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. And that's not always been the thinking before I took over as superintendent.
Well,
So
I have to
that's
stop
why
you because I take offense to that.
I'm telling you
I'm not privy to the
what I've been
conversations
told.
that you have had, but I've been in this district a lot longer than you have, and I'm inundated at all times when things come up with parents, teachers, support staff, giving us the good and giving us the bad. And I've never, ever, ever heard anybody have a complaint that you just described. So I would like more information. on that.
Actually have that talk.
Secondly, we board approved that calendar. That's not for anyone to change except this board. It's printed on there. Sorry. I apologize. We board approved the calendar. Is it working? Is yours working? Can you hear me? Anything? Nothing? We board approved the calendar. This board approved the calendar. days are printed on there for parents and the teachers and the support staff to go by. I don't think anything should be changed before it's brought to this board. The board approved the calendar last year. It is aligned with Delson. The one major thing we hear all the time is, why are our days different? We had this conversation when we didn't have the delay that Delson had. So to arbitrarily decide to change that and bring it to the board, I don't think it's appropriate.
Nothing's been changed yet. No recommendation has come to me. And when it does, a full explanation of
Parents
why.
have this on here. As a parent, every year I had a child in this district. I knew if I was going to schedule something, that day went back on. I have this printed and in my kitchen cabinet, in my note center. I would go and put that date right back on because I knew that day was going back on the calendar. I always thought it was silly that I don't remember which it is. One of our contracts doesn't align that you can't add the day back on to President's Weekend, or we'd be going back to school Friday and not having a day off and making up that day. So I don't know why we can be a recommendation that this is changed when this board approved it last year.
Again, no recommendation has come yet.
I don't know why.
And a lot of things that have to work out. That's one day. We may have 2 days, 3
We
days.
may,
to make
and
that.
the second day is on here, and the third day, and the fourth day. So I don't know why I
Yes,
recommended
no
it should
recommendation
come.
has been made.
I'm not sure why it wouldn't come.
Because we have to approve the change of the calendar.
So,
We already approved the calendar.
just for clarity, the calendar has been approved, it's still the calendar as of today. Any changes to that calendar would have to be approved by the board, correct? Is that,
I agree, I understand that.
right? Your position is.
I don't know why
you
there's a
don't-
need to make a change.
You don't even want anyone to recommend a change, but.
I don't know why there's a need.
Well, I can explain that to you. This information came to me. It's a very good discussion. It goes into the retention of staff members, and I think it's very important.
Yeah, I think any recommendation for a change would be accompanied by.
Obviously,
an
that's
explanation.
not law. You can't just be arbitrarily changed.
Right, no.
But we're not reinventing the wheel here.
But there might be good reasons to make other considerations that we didn't know about originally approved that calendar.
I'm going to be interested in not keeping an open mind, but I didn't expect an interim superintendent to even change our calendar. I'm not thrilled about the possibility.
Well, just for clarity, we need to change the calendar, if the calendar, we can.
Without a recommendation, there's no need to change the calendar.
One month.
It's been our policy for how many years?
Yeah, no, I'm saying it's our calendar, to change.
And
No one's
to
arbitrarily
insinuate that
changing.
people in our district don't feel heard or feel mistreated, I've never heard that word ever used in a conversation about anybody here.
Right. Any other comments or questions on that? Next item is our NJSBA representative report. Mrs. Brown, do you have anything from NJSBA?
I do. I believe I mentioned it last month, but on March 21st, there's the second annual Women's Leadership Conference at Mercer County Conference Center at the County College from 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Remember, please, after that. So if anyone's interested, that's again on March 21st.
It's a women's leadership conference.
It is the second annual.
They probably would appreciate it like that. Any questions on that? Any board liaison reports? We have our minutes listed from our regular board meeting of the 15th. If you had an opportunity to review them, are there any changes or comments on the minutes? If not, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as listed. All, for that second?
Second.
All in favor? Any abstentions? Abstention from Mrs. Human Resources, Mr. Betts.
I'll ask the board to approve each 1 through 11 as listed.
We have our second reading of the policies that were reviewed last meeting. Any questions on any of those? Any other comments? If not, I'll make a motion to approve human resource items H1 through H11 recommended by the superintendent. By the second. Are there any other comments? If not, call the roll, please.
Tanglein,
Yes.
Cunningham,
Yes.
Doyle,
Yes.
Russo,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Star,
Yes.
Grant.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, education items and revisions there.
No, I'll also support to approve I-1 through 5 as listed.
All right, make a motion to approve education items I-1 through I-5 as recommended by the superintendent. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any comments by board members or questions? If not, roll please, Rick.
Doyle,
Yes.
Russo,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Wilson, Smith,
Yes.
Star,
Yes.
Tanglein,
Yes.
Cunningham,
Yes.
Grant.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. General administration items. No changes there.
Yeah, no changes. I do have full SSDS report here that you can look at. But all in all, very low vandalism, HIV issues happening in this district. Again, it's a great place to work, it's come to school every day, and the reports support that.
With that, I'll make a motion to approve general administration items J1 through J7 as recommended by the superintendent. Do I have a second?
Second.
Are there any board member comments or questions? Hearing none, roll please, Rick.
Brown,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Star,
Yes.
Tanglein,
Yes.
Cunningham,
Yes.
Doyle,
Yes.
Russo,
Yes.
Grant.
Yes.
Motion carries.
We have operations, church, good for them.
Yep. K1 is claims, one bill list, and payroll for the month of January. Items 2, 3, and 4 are reflected for the month of December 2024. Budget transfers, cash report, and board secretary report. Item number 5 is still none. We are still working with real time, and I think we are getting closer to having the calculations and categories correct for the NJEIE students. So hopefully next month. 6 is none, 7 is none, 8 we have 1 out of district homebound service. And number 9, there's also 1 commission for the blind. 10 is none, 11 is none, 12 is none, 13 is facilities, the remainder PTO family night, and then the CLR PTO crack. 14 is none, and 15 is the annual audit as presented previously. Those are the operations.
Are there any board member questions on operations?
On the claims, did state 48, I don't know if that's the 47, I'm not sure. Did they charge us for the use of their facility for the day of the field trip?
Yes.
We are to pay them?
Yes.
I just saw that you had on here.
Got comments?
I didn't know, I must have missed it on the other one, so I was wondering if they charged us.
Yeah, I think State 48 was able to give us an invoice quicker than the
Okay.
Congress was. So, that's
Okay.
what we're here.
Thank you.
How much was it? Probably.
I want to say 4,200-ish. Yeah, give or take.
And that was for the 2 days.
Yes.
Any other board member questions? I have a quick question for you.
Yes.
If you're not prepared to answer it now, that's fine. You can, we can address it later, but every once in a while, I'll just get through and random people, something out of the agenda that I don't really know anything about, studying. So this particular time, I looked at the payroll
Okay.
chart, and I noticed that a lot of people receive 2 paychecks.
Yes.
Why is that?
Second.
Any other comments? If not, I'll call the roll, sure.
Smith?
Yes.
Star?
Yes.
Chambellini?
Abstain all.
Cunningham?
Yes.
Doyle?
Yes.
Regoso?
Yes.
Brett?
Yes.
Sorry, my voice got cut out. Brett, yes. Wilson?
Yes.
Brett?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Old business, board goals, anyone have any? Yearly planning calendar, there for your review. I know we have some stuff coming up as far as budget season and whatnot. Feasibility study, regionalization, consolidation, is there. Does anyone have any comments on that?
I do.
Sure.
I've already made a note.
I think it's just battery.
Yeah.
It's just battery.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I may sound like a broken record, but I'm just going to make a statement. As many of you know, at our last meeting, 5 of the 8 board members voted against bringing the ballot question to the community to vote. Just to say I'm disappointed is an understatement. I do believe it is up to the community to decide what they want and not the 8 people sitting at this table. With that being said, the question that keeps coming up over and over and over again that I hear from the board members at this table, as well as some members in the community, are the numbers. What's it going to cost to match the salaries? What's it going to cost? What's it going to cost? I feel like I hear that all the time. And we kind of said it's a very difficult number to pinpoint. A lot of moving pieces. I did not realize, but apparently Delsey administration had come up with some approximate numbers that was presented to the steering committees of the 30 districts. It was not brought to this board. I don't know why it was not brought to this board, but Trish attached it for me for this meeting. So for those who'd like to look at what it could approximately cost, there it is.
One clarification in your statement, no numbers were ever presented to the steering committee. That is not,
That's not really accurate.
that is completely accurate.
Jason.
These numbers
Mayor.
never been provided to us.
Okay.
I confirm that, Mr. Betts, I confirm that.
Wait a minute.
And
They
no
were
other
not,
members of the
Mr.
steering-
West was not there.
Mr.
this-
Betts was the steering committee.
No, I'm talking about, I don't want to argue about it.
Sure.
Can I, so you guys say what you want to say and then I'll say. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It was repetitively in both in public portions, public settings, and private settings in the steering committee. I repetitively asked if these numbers were available to review. And I said it in meetings here, I said it in steering committee meetings, I said it in the public forum, and I'm not the only person to ask about these calculations. Never, ever were these calculations provided at any time during the course of any of those meetings. Period. And if there's proof otherwise, I'd like to see it right now, that it was provided. Can you provide that?
I was not on the steering committee.
Can you provide an electronic proof?
How did I
of
get
these
these
numbers?
within days? These are lots of numbers.
I
They
would like
didn't
to,
just-
I would seriously like to know that. Where did you get these and how did you get them? When the steering committee wasn't able to get them, the public wasn't
Wait, I
able to
think
get
it's
them.
my turn.
So,
I think it's my turn.
who is your secret source?
There's no secret source. I just ask questions and I have a go getter and I want to get the information, so I go out there and I get the information.
Can I get
This is the proof. I want to thank you for providing the proof that we made the right decision. That these numbers were never provided, okay? We had a study that used the word cost savings, and now you provided a number of $1.7 million that it's going to cost our community, not including support staff, not including transportation, not including health benefits. None of those calculations were in these numbers that mysteriously have appeared now. Mysteriously appeared, okay? So
This is dead too.
these numbers were never provided. Now, Mrs. Shanklini, now all of a sudden, she knows about the numbers?
No, all of a
We all
sudden.
sat at these meetings, why didn't
No,
you
all
say
of a
something
sudden.
about the numbers?
Let me
previously?
say. Can I talk?
Sure, go
You
ahead.
guys are ready. Sitting at that meeting approximately 8 months ago, it was before that, I apologize, 8 months before we stopped having the meetings. which was October, which then I was not permitted to discuss, and or we had no meetings afterward. Because we were lame duck for one person's seat who was now sitting here, just so you know. Interestingly, Jason, it may have been before you started attending those steering committee meetings. Joe Collins specifically gave us a number that included taking just Franklin's teachers, placing them on the scale, not exactly step to step because you cannot do that, but so that they would reach the top of the scale quicker. He gave us a ballpark of just Franklin teachers. Jason, you're right, not including benefits, not including administrators. It was just that bottom number you see on that tally, approximately 400 grand. And if I recall from the very beginning, I don't remember anybody saying that regionalization was going to save everybody all this money. But it never was said.
But we're missing the point.
Wait.
The voters need to
Wait,
decide.
I'm not finished. Does the 1 million, that would include putting everybody up on salary, but the 400 is improving teachers only Franklin, not L. So I kept saying, I know I heard this number somewhere. In October, Joe and Fran both said, yeah, we did say that number so far ago. You're thinking, Jason, about when we were at Delsey and nobody would give us that number.
Well,
When we were at that
if
big
you're
meeting,
saying-
no, but I'm not done. When we were at that big meeting, nobody would provide that number. Since Brian's been on, that number hasn't been brought out again, but that number was in the back of my head since maybe January. I wish I had my notes, because I'd go back and tell you. That number is a drop in the night compared to those things. So I'm just saying, whether these numbers came out of wherever, however, it's almost a moot point in it, because 5 members sitting around this board don't want to do it. So why are we even talking about it, Alicia? Because the majority don't want to do it. And even if they did, I'm not convinced that Mr. Grant would lead us there, because he doesn't want to do it. So why are we even talking about it anymore? Let's not talk about it anymore. That's my opinion. Let's just drop it. And I'm sorry, because you know how I feel about it.
I'll stand by what I said, those numbers were never provided to that committee.
You were not-
If they were given the numbers and they chose not to share them with everybody, I
Well,
can't.
wait.
I can't say that.
I'm going to intervene, wait a minute. I wasn't a part of any of it, but I won't sit at this table and have members point fingers at each other because they didn't point fingers back. We're not going,
Alicia
we're
made a
involved out
statement,
here.
Alicia made a statement that these numbers were provided to the committee.
She never said that they were withheld by anyone specifically.
Alicia,
You're
did you
just
state that the
assuming-
I said,
numbers
I
were
don't know
provided to the
why.
committee?
I
You want to
said-
know why they weren't provided to the
I said,
rest of the board?
I don't know why they were not brought to our board,
I would like to know the same thing.
but
I know why. Because nobody was driving the bus. And when you get in a situation like we were in, and everybody's waiting for somebody else to take the lead and drive the bus, I don't know if it was Trish not coming to us, I don't know if it was Troy not coming to us, or Jeff, but guess what? Jeff was never involved. So, was it my place? Was it Michelle's? Was it Jason's? I don't know. I don't know why it didn't happen. But as of October 18th, it was never going to happen. And that's when they confirmed that number, because that was floating around in the back. It's a moot point. Drop it. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. Because 5 people don't want to do it. They don't want the public to decide. They want to decide. So that's it. I'm not going to argue that.
Anything additional?
no, I'm done.
Any other board members? Moving on, we have a new business.
I'm just gonna say, I concur with Laura. You weren't there at some of the first meetings when this.
Let me ask you a question.
Just saying.
I'm not saying,
Let me ask
we're
you a
not,
question.
no.
No.
You listen. I'm not done.
Go ahead.
You listen. You were not there for some of the meetings. There were discussions about salaries. Salaries could not be correlated, as Barb already said. Numbers were thrown out. We were never given a printout.
Right.
We were never shown data like
Right,
this.
right.
But discussions were made about the fact that you could not pinpoint how much it would be. You could give, maybe if we gave them this much, it would be the 1.7. If we
Right.
only did the teachers, it would be
4.
about 4. Those discussions occurred.
So you concur that these numbers were never provided in writing to the steering committee?
I don't know who they were provided to. They were probably provided to somebody, not to the steering committee.
Okay, thank you. That's all I wanted to confirm is that we did not get these numbers.
Maybe you should push harder, Ken.
I asked 20 times for that. How much more should I push, Alicia? I was in a public meeting.
Exactly. These numbers aren't from Rowan. These are from Delsey. Delsey went and did the work.
Because we were on them about it.
So asking Mark, those guys from Rowan, no, they don't have it.
If Delsey had the information, why did they give it to us?
No, you should ask the administration why administration didn't talk to the other administration.
Would you like to tell us where you got the numbers from so we can ask them?
Delsey administration.
You were told these numbers existed, and then all of a sudden, they dropped.
I went out and I asked. I asked Trish to reach out to Delsey administration and get the numbers, and poof, they were there.
That's not what your email said.
That's what I did. Trish, I emailed Trish and I asked.
Your email specifically said someone from Delsey told you that these numbers existed.
Delsey administration told me they existed. I didn't see them.
Delsey administration.
It's not my place to ask for the numbers, so I asked Trish, can you please reach out?
Who in the Delsey administration advised you that these numbers were available?
Who advised me?
Yeah,
What
who
does that
in
matter?
the Delsey administration told you these numbers were available?
What does that matter?
I think,
I think it's relevant.
I don't think so.
I don't think it's.
Is it a secret now?
Not a
Is it a secret? Okay.
Joe Collins made the numbers.
Well, none of us could get them, and then all of a sudden, your secret source
I don't
from
think that's
Delsey
the point. I think the
administration
point
says they're
is
available.
everybody's upset that no one asked.
Right.
I asked for them 20 times, at least 20 times.
Give an email where you send.
I have a video I can show you where I asked for them in a public setting. You were there, you were there, you were there, you were there. They had, of course they had it then. They told you they had it before I started attending the steering committee meetings.
You asked to go with
Let me,
people.
wait a minute.
Well, the people with the numbers were sitting in the audience and sat silent, so.
Okay, that meeting was put on by Rowan. Rowan didn't compile the numbers, Rowan didn't bring the numbers because Rowan didn't work on the numbers. So Rowan giving that meeting wouldn't have had access to that. Did you reach out to the administration?
The people that had the numbers sat in that meeting, they heard the question asked, at no point did they
You're
offer
not
the
hearing
information.
my question because you've interrupted me.
I did not interrupt you.
You did, I wasn't finished. Did you ever email Joe or Fran?
I asked
The year before
in
that,
multiple steering committee
did you
meetings.
ever email them and ask, my board members are asking me for numbers, do they exist?
I'll give a sworn affidavit that I verbally
Asking for that.
asked for those numbers multiple times at multiple steering committee meetings.
Okay, that's.
Stephanie, nobody was driving the bus. That's all I'm going to say. So nobody knew who to ask what, when, where, and how. Then we had 2 superintendents leave. We had issues with Newfield. And I'll be honest, it was quite a rodeo in there. So we did the best we could as a steering committee, all of us. And it's just a moot point. We got to stop talking about it.
Move on.
Verbal, the budget updates, right? Assume you don't have much new.
That is correct, yes. Still filing most of the expenses. The governor's address is still scheduled for Tuesday, the 25th of February. Therefore, we should still get the numbers, stating figures on Thursday, February 27th. Have not heard that those dates will be pushed back, so that's what I'm expecting. We did meet with the health insurance broker. It's, this current year, our health insurance increased about 5.34%. We said to estimate about 7% at this point, and that's running well. So stay tuned for that. Again, 22 teaching staff members that would be eligible for family benefits, and we have 2 support staff members that would be eligible also. So 24 total staff members eligible for family benefits. The difference that I reviewed before is about $25,000 from single to family. Basically, that comes to $600,000.
How many members, Tricia?
24 total staff members, 22 teaching staff.
You said 600,000.
Is that with or without the?
That is without, yes. Right. Salaries are still about a little bit over 50% of the budget. $136,000, and one new white fleet van at $100,000. What do we got? Yeah, leasing obviously would be a cheaper route. I don't have those numbers yet. We don't have any contingencies added in yet for any special ed transportation. Obviously, I need to look at the child study team budgets and add students into the transportation budget. Repairs and maintenance budgets is typically funded with maintenance reserve. We did use $371,000 in the current budget with the numbers that Mike Holt presented with the available funds. To take us down to 2%, there was a $215,000 extra deposit into the maintenance reserve. So we have about $178,000 available for use in the 2025 budget, 25-26 budget. Curriculum instruction had a slight increase for PD, as that was usually covered, previously covered by ESSER funds. Also, tutoring is included in that. Again, that was previously covered within the ESSER fund grants. Technology budget had a slight increase for added security for email filtering software, as well as funds for the Canadian Board of Parks for any potential repairs, as they are now 5 or 6 years old. Just a reminder, the 2% tax levy increase equals about $253,000. Again, state aid has not come out, but it's going to be pretty, I'm sure, this is what I keep hearing. We don't have anything cap, not due to the new field tuition yet, that's still being worked on, but again, that covers around $2 million, give or take. Yes. But they paid us. We're not,
I know, we're not
we don't
gonna-
have any guys to pay, so we'll take that. That's pretty much the good news that I have. Good word.
Any questions for Trish on the budget? Hearing none, I'll move on from our agenda. We have our second public comment section. Please remember the board's limited its ability to respond to the public on the following matters: personnel, anticipated and pending litigation, negotiations, attorney-client privilege, unwarranted invasion of individual privacy, tactics and techniques in protecting the safety and the property of the public. With that, make a motion to open the public. I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone from the public which would like to address the board? Good evening. I know you guys were here at 6 o'clock, so thank you for your patience and apologize for any confusion with the call. If you could, just please state your name so we have it for our record.
Absolutely. My name is Renee Klein.
I'm Rich Klein.
So we're here today to speak to the board because our 7-year-old son was a victim of physical abuse by his teacher back in December in this district. Since then, as you stated, we have little to no information on the personnel outcome of the teacher in the district. Most importantly, we're here to ensure that there have been formal steps have been taken place in the entire school district, ensuring that all staff know their legal obligation as a mandatory reporter of any and all potential abuse of children. Most importantly, to be assured that formal training has been done or can be arranged to this district for the proper handling of children, and especially those with IEPs and with disabilities. Whether this incident has been deemed as a one-off incident or rogue event, my son's safety, integrity, and self-esteem was put into jeopardy, and our family in turmoil. We feel that where else is there better to put resources but to ensure that the teachers, especially those directly involved in the care of children with disabilities, are completely supported and our children are kept safe. And I leave that open to the board for your consideration for any resources. I'm an educator myself, and I know that a lot of resources go into that, but I do feel that rather than just pointing a finger, we provide the support and resources to our teachers that they're able to properly handle a situation that occurred with my son.
Thank you. Very valid points. And I can tell you that, the board's approved on your situation. Obviously, we can't discuss it, in detail.
Thank you for your time.
And again, I apologize for confusion having me sit down here for an hour.
That's okay. We're 2 minutes down the road.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public wish to comment? All right, I make a motion to close the second public comment portion. Do I have a second? All in favor? Next scheduled meeting is February the 19th. That'll be a work session, which will be in the administrative building. Correct? Are there any board comments?
Yeah, I just
Star. It was the purple budget update.
After our heated discussion about numbers and consolidation and moving on for it, I make a motion to start a superintendent search to fill the space for our current superintendent. Clearly, we're not going down the road.
They can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I forgot. I said, after our heated discussion with the consolidation, and we've all kind of realized that it's kind of a moot point, which is Strangolini, I would like to make a motion to start a superintendent search.
Second action.
Okay, there's a motion by Mrs. Starr to proceed with the superintendent search to fill the superintendent position permanently. Second by Mrs. Burgos. Are there any board member comments or questions regarding that?
My only comment on it, I made the motion, but my comment will be the same comment that I had when Mr. Walton was still here. We're the only board that has something that we have to complete. We're the board that has work to do. Everybody else has their leadership in place. We knew with Mr. Walton leaving, with this being a possibility, we were going to need to use an interim. Delsey didn't have that problem because they were going to hire somebody, because if we consolidated, that person was going to be our superintendent. So we have been treading water as a board for more than a year now, waiting for this outcome. To delay it makes no sense. We need a leader. If everybody here wants to move on, this is the direction we move on.
Proceeding this vote will, I guess, depending on the outcome, we can have discussions either this evening or on the 19th as to how to proceed in whatever direction, obviously. My only comment is that we have quite a few different things we've been looking at as a board. And I think you and I discussed this, and
And they can live simultaneously.
right, and I told you that I would make this comment, that, we're going into budget season, we now may be looking at doing a superintendent search. We've been talking about preschool expansion. So we have a lot of things going on. I don't know that, I'm not saying that we can't necessarily do them all simultaneously. However, we may want to consider focusing on one item or the other moving forward to give our full attention to it. That's my only comment, and I'm not objecting to your motion or anything. I just want to put that out there.
I think we can handle them, move on with that.
I think it's our job to do.
Yes, we have strong administration, we'll work with them, we can do this. No problem.
I think it's a great idea that at the work session, we really tease out a plan. I think that's a great idea, because we have to have a plan.
Yeah, because I'm assuming that with that, your goal would be for like a July 1.
But whatever, we'll have to see, right?
We have to see, but the problem is it's not a 2-month process.
Right.
It takes many months, and it's going to take many months, even if we had started it when we knew Mr. Walton was going to leave. But we waited on our work to be done and hiring a leader for this district, because other districts were,
Yeah,
I don't mean to be derogatory, but, their plan and their process strung us along.
Sure did.
No, we're agreeing on that.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah,
so now here we are, the work needs to be done. To delay it any longer is just,
No, I'm not suggesting, I'm agreeing with Mrs. Shanklin.
Yes, no, I
Your
know.
point that if we move forward with this, we need to move forward
we need, yeah,
expeditiously because we want to do it
keep the train rolling.
sooner rather than later. Right, yeah. We can agree on some
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. So, I know you guys put all of that, but yeah, I agree. But again, I do have reservations that,
We can get
our
it done.
focus,
Well, we don't
that
do
we're able-
board
we're able
goals
to-
and we don't do training as a board, so we can fill that case.
We don't have to worry about superintendent evaluation this year, so.
Yep, there you go.
all right, so any other questions? There's a motion by Mrs. Stark, and second by Mrs. Pergetta. Mr. Clear, it is first you call the roll.
Chang-Lee,
Yes.
Cunningham,
Yes.
Doyle,
Yes.
Fregoso,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Star,
Yes.
Grant.
Yes.
Motion carries.
That being said, want to quickly discuss next steps?
Sure. Yeah,
Want to do it?
here, let's do it.
Mark, what's that face?
I don't know if I can absorb all this.
All this?
Yes,
No.
Next steps come up with a list of things that we want in a superintendent, right?
Well, I think we first have to decide how we're gonna go about doing it. Are we
See,
gonna
that's
do a
why I
full
think we-
board, or are we gonna, yeah.
That's why I think we need to wait till the work session and decide all that then. That's just my opinion. What?
Why don't we reach out to our new school board representative, since it's not Carrie anymore, and get opinion, and maybe when they get back to you, if it's at the pleasure of the board, that Ms. Birmingham can reply that we are interested in, we will be conducting a superintendent search. Can you give us an idea of what your services would provide?
They'll come in.
Use-
They'll come in. We went
Right.
to,
But
were
then
you
she
at the
can
one
give us
with
a
me
list.
at the school board's meeting?
Yes.
Were you there too? There were like 3 or 4 of us there. The superintendent search, they do a beautiful job, but, you know, that's Gwen. Gwen does this phenomenal job of organizing.
Right.
everything, so.
But if we have it to present to all the new members who
Right,
haven't been
right,
there, versus what does it look like if we undertake the task on our own?
Or with another agent,
Right, exactly.
with like
Right.
another agent.
I've just been informed that actually Mr. Kachish did this once, so he can assist us as well.
Not search.
Not to search, but guidance.
That's super
Process guidance, yeah.
No, I took the search. And in terms of process and procedure, typically what you would want to do is decide how you're conducting the search. Are you doing it yourselves?
Right.
Or are you bringing in a third party?
Right.
If you're bringing in a third party, you'll probably have to go out for that. So, my point is, it doesn't have to be school boards
Right, there's other.
doing it.
Right.
You might probably want to interview those folks and decide
Exactly.
if you want to go with it.
That's what we.
Okay. That would be, then at that point, we can start posting.
So if we have an idea of what school boards can provide,
And who else is
You wanna-
available? What else is
what
available?
else is out there, that's our first step.
Um,
I
Good
can
form of-
provide a list,
I know
because we've used other agencies, we had them come in at one point to board meetings, both their services. So I can-
Is this something we form a committee for, or is just,
Typically, you can do it, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
no?
You would typically form a superintendent search committee, and then you guys can, depending on how you want to handle it, right? So you can either have a committee, and the committee can do resumes, you do it separately. Committee can do the first round of interviews, bring candidates to the second round, however you want to do the process. But you discuss it as a full board, and then get a committee's direction.
About the agenda?
Something I want to throw out to the board to consider between now and our next meeting. I had the opportunity to participate when Delta hired their current superintendent. They put a little committee together and had different stakeholders. I think it's something we should seriously consider doing in this case as well. Representatives from, you know, the teachers, the support staff, maybe some community representatives.
But that's what the,
Group does.
Yeah, I
that's
think
what
we
the
should
outside
see,
agency
we
does.
need to exclude
Yeah, it won't
certain
be us.
individuals, right? And have, you know, some stakeholders involved in the process. Not hiring a superintendent, but establishing, you know, what
They'll be focused.
the criteria of what we're looking for in a superintendent.
Right, which is, right.
Yeah, I'm saying it involves parties from outside of the board.
Yes, all stakeholders.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And we could put that together and see who we want to play for that. Maybe we need to have somebody from the municipal government, almost similar to like a smaller scale what we did for the strategic plan. So that would be my proposal. Any other comments or questions? Just something to think about. Hearing none, I make a motion to adjourn. By the second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.